Hello everybody, Blair Harrison aka Harrison Productions here, and welcome to a very special video. Now you're probably wondering, why is that? Well, that's because today, at the time I'm recording, that we have just reached 250 subscribers. Now obviously a lot of you will probably think, that's nothing mate, you know, it's not compared to 1,000, but to me it's something, considering I've kind of abandoned this channel for a few bits, and obviously I'm still trying to get on my feet making content in an environment which is dominated by adverts and drama videos and what have you. It's something for me, and because 2024 has been a difficult year for me, it's something. So I'd like to thank you all for following this journey and shall we say cope with my abstinence for a few times. Just thank you. And I thought I'd celebrate by doing a video on showing my guitars really. I've never really thought about showing it because I'm one of those people who have owned and sold a few guitars over the years, but I thought let's try something different, and you know, maybe these might interest you and you're like, oh, that looks interesting. So let's not waste any time, let's get into the video, which we look at my 11 guitars, starting with number 1. Okay, and here is guitar number 1. Excuse the tripod. This you have seen in a couple of videos. This is my Epiphone inspired by Gibson Firebird, the I guess it's the 2020 models of a Firebird 5, which has those inlays, I forget the name, not to be confused with the Firebird 3, which has the dotted inlays. And this has been my main guitar. Bought this in January 2023 because I was inspired by 2 guitar players. First one being Phil Manzanera from Roxy Music, when I saw him with Roxy Music at the Hydro for the 50th anniversary tour in 2022, and the other one being Ramon Goose. And I've just got this back because there's new pickups, so let's zoom into that if I can focus. So this neck pickup is the Seymour Duncan Antiquity Firebird pickup, and the bridge here is a Monty's guitar pickup. Now you're probably wondering, why 2 different pickups? Well, simply it was because the Seymour Antiquity bridge pickup was just taking ages basically, and it was just taking a while to be in stock. So obviously looking through Monty's and buying the food wax that I use to clean off the frets, I thought, well, the fretboard really, I thought it looks promising from the description, and it was 50 quid cheaper than what it cost for the Antiquity bridge pickup, so it made sense. Get a Monty's. I would describe more, but if you've seen the previous video where I did the 3 pedals, you can hear this guitar in action, or if you go to one of my shorts, you'll see me getting this, well, playing this guitar for the first time and getting the sound that I love. And yeah, and it took me a while because I just love this guitar. This has become my number 1, and I even got to that stage where I was just messing it constantly when it was getting its pickups repaired, and I'm just so glad to have it back because, you know, look at it, look at that, beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and it plays like butter. Well, once you remove the electronics and get better pickups, it's just fabulous. So number 1, the Epiphone inspired by Gibson Firebird 5 guitar. And now onto the big collection. Okay, and we are in the bedroom, and this here is the Rack of Doom. And I guess we'll start off with the unholy three, which are the three Telecasters. Or are they? As well, figure out. So let's start off with the oldest guitar I have, which is this one. This is the Fender Baja Telecaster from... Oh, when did I get this? Was it 2017, 2018? Made in Mexico. This is the one... well, first off, this is based on a 19... Well, it says 50s. I assume this is based on a 52 Black God Blonde Telecaster. And it's got the no-caster pickups. This has a 4-switch actually. So the usual 3 switch is simple. Bridge, and neck. The 4th one is, I think it's meant to be like a humbucker or something. I don't know. I don't really use it that often. I only mainly use the main functions. And on the volume button there's a switch here. I think that's a phase switch. Again, I don't really use it often. I mainly just use the guitar as is, but you know, lovely guitar. I've used this for a couple of years. This was like my main go-to stage guitar before I eventually ventured out some more guitars. And yeah, it's a pretty good guitar. The only thing about being a 1950s guitar or Fender is, or 50s inspired should I say, is the necks are really chunky. They're like baseball bats. You know, that feel. So they're a bit, you know, unless you're Eric Clapton with big horns, you got to really, you know, get used to it. It's the same with some of the Les Pauls, the 50s ones, before they slim it down by the 1960s. But, you know, brass saddles, very nice. This is the back. Yeah, look at that. If I can get off, where did it go? Sorry, I'm making a fool of myself. There you go. Look at that, man. And oh, the neck is actually sanded down, because originally it was, you know, glossy and all that, and obviously as you play over time, got a bit sticky, so you just get the old sandpaper out, the wet sandpaper, and sand it down. A few things actually. Don't know if you can see that, but let's see if we can get you in focus. Right, that's the best I can offer, but basically here, I don't remember exactly what happened. I must have banged it off a wall, or maybe at a concert or something. Well, not a concert, maybe like a small stage or something, but you know, it's a good guitar, and it's there when I need it, you know. What can you say? Good old Fender Baja Telecaster. Yeah, there we go. Okay, the next one is my Squier Classic Vibe 60s Telecaster. Now this was this was my third Squier Classic Vibe guitar. The first one was a Bass 6 that didn't last very long. It was a black one with a tortoiseshell blackguard. No, not blackguard. Tortoiseshell pickguard, sorry. And it was followed by another guitar, which we'll see later on. But this was the third one, and I like this Telecaster more than the blackguard, mainly just because the neck is just more comfortable and you can actually reach around it. But yeah, this has been my main kind of go-to recording guitar. This was my go-to gigging guitar and fade and light until I played with a bassist who shall not be named, you know, that kind of situation. And I remember you could not hear a single thing because the bassist turned the amp up very loud. Why am I not surprised? Nothing has been modded. I haven't put any modded the pickups or the parts, because I don't really use it that much apart from recording, and I don't really think it needs that much. I mean, eventually one day I probably will have to mod it, but you know, it's a good job. And the neck uses, I can't remember if it's Indian, I think it's Indian or Brazilian rosewood, but it's actually really nice considering, you know, before that it was all like Paul Faro and do not like them at all. I don't know why you'd want a Paul Farrell guitar neck. It's just, nah, very dry and dull, in my opinion. And then the third Telecaster, or the mystery one. Now you're probably wondering, right Blair, what the hell are you on about? This guitar here is not a Telecaster, it's an Esquire, because it's got one pickup. And this is a 60s vibe again. I bought this last year? Yeah, last year I bought this. I was doing, and the guitar strap falls. I was working on a documentary for my university course called My First Punk Gig, Derek's Tale, which is, I think it's been shown in festivals or something at the moment, so, you know, if you ever see that, check it out. But there was a shop in Glasgow called Blitzkrieg shop, which is in Barrowlands, or as we call it in Glasgow, the Barras, and it's a record shop, but sometimes they might have some guitars. And I remember the moment we were there to film, or setting up to enter the shop, I saw this in the window and I froze, because the first thing I thought was, it's the Syd Barrett guitar, because obviously Syd Barrett, he used a 1964 blonde Esquire on that first album, Pipe of the Gates of Dawn, and the early singles. And the strap is, don't know if you can see that, the strap is the Cavern Club. Gavin, the keyboardist in Fame Lights, gave me that, so I cherish for this guitar, even though, you know, I bought it to sound like Syd Barrett. But supposedly I think Paul McCartney actually used an Esquire. I think he's got the same one, but obviously no, it is. It's right-handed, actually, and he just plays upside down. I think it's the one that's on... Is it on Sgt. Pepper, the track? I can't remember, but he used it on that, and I think he used it on the first McCartney album. And it's just a good little guitar, especially if you want to do like guitar solos, and that's great. So what it is it's a single pickup, but when you have the switch on the third facing towards the volume knob, the tone doesn't work. It's like a bright sound, so this is great for guitar solos. And when you put up the first switch, it gives this kind of dead sound, which I think the idea was, well, basically like the tone rolled off. I think the idea was it was supposed to emulate like a bass sound, which is a bit bizarre. I mean, how many guitar players do you know use a guitar like a bass? Apart from George Harrison on that song, I can't remember, on Let It Be. But you know, it's a good guitar, and it's really handy. It's great to just get that Syd Barrett tone if you need it. Okay, right, the next one is one Fenderland territory. So we have this one. This is a Squire Mustang, classic vibe 60s. This is actually the second Squire guitar I own. Well, actually no, technically it's the third, but the Squire, the first one I had was a Billiton, but Stratocaster, which I got rid of ages ago. So this is the second classic vibe Squire guitar I bought, and it's in this really lovely blue. I think it's, I can't remember the name of it, but it's really gorgeous. Let me just remove the strap. Look at that, it's gorgeous. The thing you might notice is I replace the pickups, because the ones that came with this guitar stock, not very strong enough, and the parts were a bit rubbish, so I took them off. These are actually Fender Tex-Mex pickups, and I still got the middle pickup, so it's just the bridge and the neck. The middle pickup's actually in a box, and I like this one mainly because, because I don't own a Strat, and I've never really got on with a Strat, so this is the closest thing I can get with the switching, because you got the phase switch, and you know, put them two facing towards each other. I think it's in, and when you have them facing opposite each other on different ends, you get a out of phase sound, and you know, all that. Not really useful. I wouldn't recommend this if you're a live guitar player, you know, you would have a problem with these, because when they first came out in the 60s, these were kind of like a cheap option, because this was a redesigned version of the dual sonnet that came out in the 1950s. So yeah, which is a bit annoying. I would say if you want to get this guitar, you would have to just put a toggle switch and mod it, like any Mustang users would do. Oh, and the neck, the back neck, I sanded this down a bit because it was a bit slidey and sticky, so I put that on, and there you go. And this, if you listen to my band Fading Lights, you will hear this guitar being used on our track called Summer Moonlight. Just listen to it closely and you will hear it as the lead guitar and the rhythm. So, good stuff. Okay, now we've got the big one. I don't know how we're going to film this one because of his neck. So this you have seen in a video. This is my Squier Paranormal Jazzmaster 12 string, which is plays like a beauty. This is in a transitional stage at the moment because I'm having to play about with the action. Don't know why, it's just been awkward. And I'm thinking of changing the parts and the pickups. The pickups I'm thinking is probably the Fender J Masses pickups, just because I just like the sound of them, and also they're meant to be good for when you're playing, like, you know, drive pedals or fuzzes, and I just thought it'd be cool to see what it would sound like on a 12 string. But let's get that hockey stick. Look at that, man. Look at that. Now, how many guitar headstocks do you see that looks like a hockey stick? Beautiful stuff, man. Beautiful. Okay, and next we are on Gibson land territory, and here's a guitar I haven't bought not that long ago, actually. I'm not a Les Paul user, and I've never really been a Les Paul user for years until this. This is a Sire Larry Carlton LV7 guitar. So this is obviously based on a gold top. I think it was Larry Carlton's 1950, was it 56 model? So this is the one with the soap ball pickups. Just a lovely guitar, and I need to show you the neck. I don't know if the lighting's any good, but look at that. Ebony. It's all ebony, and it's really lovely. Chunky neck like the Telecaster, the Baja 50s one. But, you know, I can get used to it. And the P90s, yeah, they get a bit getting used to. But I've got to say, these are the best P90s I've played, because I've played a few and a lot of them have never really impressed me, but these have. And the reason I bought this guitar was because this was kind of like, I guess like a dream of mine for years, because one of my favourite guitar players as a teenager was Jeff Lynne from Electric Light Orchestra, and obviously he used a gold top P90 guitar on those classic Electric Light Orchestra albums, and I think Danny Cowan also briefly played this on some of the Fleetwood Macs. I know he's seen in footage for Albatross from a BBC performance, which is pretty cool. So yeah, Sire Larry Carlton LV7 guitar. Lovely stuff. And going from Gibson order, we have this little guitar, the Epiphone 61 SG, or is it actually a Les Paul? Yeah, this is an interesting one. This is the one with the Maestro vibrola, which is yeah, gets a bit getting used to. Clearly this was Gibson's answer to the tremolo on a Fender guitar, and I guess a Bigsby, really. But I like this. Look at that. And it says Epiphone on it. I don't know if you could see that, but you know, it just looks nice. And I bought this guitar mainly because this was another childhood dream. You know, the SG was my first Epiphone guitar, and all my favourite guitar players had a version of this. Maybe not a 1961, but you know, with the Maestro vibrola from George Harrison, P. Ham, Eric Clapton. Who else? There's another one. Robbie Krieger. That's another one. Sterling Morrison of the Velvet Underground. Actually, I think Sterling Morrison's SG they use on the first Velvet Underground album. I think his was a 61. So, you know, what does that tell you? But look at that. Lovely. The back. Very nice cherry. This is in a transitional period because I've changed the bridge for a Reverend roller bridge just to make it easier to bend the tremolo a bit, and I need to fix the action, and I'm thinking of changing the pickups. I don't really like humbuckers, mainly because I just find them a bit too bassy and warm, especially on the neck. Oh, no, not the neck, the bridge, sorry. The neck is alright if you're trying to play jazz, but when you're trying to play rockin' and especially clean stuff, I always struggle with these. So this is definitely need to get work on, but lovely guitar regardless. Okay, and the next guitar you have seen in a previous video, the 3 most important guitars. This is, I don't know how to get this one, this is big. This is my Epiphone Riviera. Second important guitar. I remember when these first came out, I was excited because I could finally own the guitar Blue Reed. Was seen playing on the album cover for Transformer. You know, nice red. I think it's burgundy red they call this. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And I love this bridge, even though it might be a bit complicated for some. It's just lovely. And this is the only time where I kept the pick guard on this, because I did own a Barney 335 copy, and I used to take the pick guard off because it was just getting in the way. And as you notice, that Sire Larry Carlton L7V guitar, I took the pick guard off, but this is the only one where it just feels comfortable. But I guess because it's a bigger body, it doesn't get in the way compared to a Les Paul. Just lovely stuff. This has the mini humbuckers, which I like. Not as good as the Firebird pickups, in my opinion. I prefer the Firebird pickups more, just because it just works for what I do. But this is just as good, and you know, I prefer these over regular humbuckers just because you can get a bit more of a kick out of it. We're nearly done, folks. So the next guitar is acoustic. And I've owned a lot of acoustics over the years, but this has become my favourite. This is a Guild. What is this again? This is a Guild M120 electric natural guitar. This has Fishman pickups, so you just connect right through here. And yeah, it's a good guitar. It's my favourite acoustic at the moment because, you know, and what I like about this is it's just a nice small scale, and because well, I mean, I wouldn't say I've got small hands, but you know, when you're trying to play with acoustic with a big body, it does take a bit, especially if you're playing like a jumbo, which is oof. And the only reason I bought this guitar was because I thought it looked similar to the guitar that Nick Drake is holding on the Brighter Later album cover, which I think was a Guild M60, which, well, actually that's a guitar nobody knows who that belongs to. It was just a prop used for the album cover, but you know, I'm glad I did, because this is a lovely guitar. And I bought this second hand, and you know, a lot of second hand guitars, you know, could be hit or miss, but this is actually the nicest. And the strings on these, I should mention that all my electric guitars are Alexa OptiWeb 11 gauges strings for all of them, and on this uses Diodario or Diodario Nickel Bronze. It's Nickel Bronze, that's the name of the strings, Nickel Bronze. So they give that kind of dead sound. If you listen to a lot of folk artists from 1960s and 70s, like Nick Drake for example, who never changed the strings, and that's how you get that unique sound. But you know, it's a lovely guitar. That's all I've got to say. And finally, we have a bass guitar. And I'm not really the best on bass guitar. It's only really if there's a track where on Fading Lights we need a bass guitar. Sometimes you could do synth bass, but let's be honest, it's not good as a proper bass guitar. So this is a Yamaha broad bass. Which one is this again? This is a broad bass 234, and this. When did this came out? Was this 2019? The reason I bought this bass was because of Peter Hook, actually. And I remember when Peter Hook was, I think he was doing a promo for this or something before he teamed up with Yamaha to reproduce his famous broad bass signature model. And so I bought it just because Peter Hook used it. And I think Paul McCartney also used a broad bass in the 80s. I think it's on McCartney too, and possibly on the Last Wings album, Back to the Egg. This is a big guitar, so and it's really nice, lovely neck. The strings on this is, what are they again? They're ground wound strings, and I discovered them through Manny of the Stone Roses and Primal Scream. He used these strings on the Stone Roses reunion tour between 2012 to 2016. I think it was around 2016 when he was using a Jazzmaster bass. He uses ground wound strings, which is like a combination between flat wounds and round wounds. And if you play soft, you get that kind of nice flat sound of James Jamerson, and if you hit hard, you get that rounded slap sound of Flea, or what's his name, from Sly and the Family Stone, Larry Graham. It's just really nice, and just good to record with. And it's got the precision pickup and a single jazz pickup. So if you need a track on bass, I've got this. And now back to the glass room. So thank you for watching this video. I hope this has interested you, and here's to another 2,000 subscribers whenever we reach it, and here's to more videos whenever be. So I'll see you next time for the next video, and take care, folks.